Are you recording this and going to release it later?
Okay, went live and started with that. Perfect.
That's
All
fine.
right.
It's fine. It's live.
Well,
Live
Casey's
and
an
in
old
I'm
pro
video.
at
recording it
this.
for the YouTube, so I'll just have to do a little snippet there. It's fine.
That's
Um,
fine.
hello, nobody watching at this point. We
Hello,
are,
YouTube.
yeah, but the YouTube will. We are back to do our, excuse me, Fantasy Critic League for 2022. Last year it was just me and Casey. Casey is joining me again, but we also have our other pal Dan joining us. Thank you guys for doing this.
I do want to point out last year it was just the two of us, but also Dan was there watching us.
That is true.
He was the one person in the chat, I
Not for the
believe,
whole.
at
There
the
were
time.
there were two people in the chat, and they were not there at the same time, and they were both named Dan. So that is perfect.
Maybe we'll get one person this year, and they'll jump in next year.
D3, another Dan, just for the.
Only
um.
dance.
Oh
I'm just
God.
glad to be here. I really wanted to play last year. I think I was playing along from home. So
Well, yeah, you didn't know we were doing it, and so you were just like, I think the first thing that you did was jumped into my chat and went, "What the fuck?" Like,
it's usually
um,
how I enter rooms. That
yeah.
works.
But yeah, so we'll get to the new draft. I just wanted to go over last year a little bit. I had a lot of will not releases last year. Um, what is on the screen doesn't even show what was all of my will not releases. I think I had 8 will not releases at one point total. And that sucked cuz I was running around like crazy. But I did end up winning, but that's I think because you didn't pay quite enough attention, Casey.
Well, it's hard when there's so many games out that I've never heard of. And also, I mean, I didn't feel good about the pick at the time, but I had a feeling God of War was not going to come out last year. So
Yeah, but that's where
I put a lot of stock on that.
that's where the counter picks come in, and that's, you know, that still worked out in your kind of favor.
Yeah.
Um,
Although,
because
yeah,
a zero is still like you're eating up a spot, but you're not losing points. The counter pick,
Skatebird did not
you,
help me either.
well, that's true, but I had faith that Halo Infinite wouldn't actually make release, and it did, and
Just barely.
well, it still got you 17 points and lost me 17 points for that reason.
Ugh,
So,
wow.
but yeah, for the most part, this is what it was. I actually had a like really good year in the end, out despite the panic of, oh, this isn't releasing. Oh, this isn't releasing. Oh, this isn't releasing. Just throughout the whole year.
It's bonkers to me to think your highest scoring game was Forza.
The highest scoring game of the year in general, I believe.
That's
Not just for
nuts.
our league. I believe that is the
I
highest
mean, it is
reviewed.
fun. Don't get me wrong. I've played it a little bit, but
I
it's kind
haven't
of
played
wild.
it yet. I do want to play it. I do have the very nice special controller that they released for it. That has only been used for Halo so far. Because it's free. But yeah, so we'll skip over this now because it was it was a fun but pretty basic year because it was just the two of us. So we do have our new year to do here. Let me make sure. So if it was just you and me, Casey, I would do it since you lost the season, that you would pick first. But since we have Dan joining us, I am randomizing it so that
That's fine.
whoever does it. So let me get there. Also, I will go over the rules because I did change a couple of things.
Mm.
With Dan joining us, it feels a little like we would have gotten into the nitty gritty by like round 3.
Yeah, I feel like going deep in a game league when probably like
A
half of
good
the games that
25% of the
haven't even
games
been
will be
announced
announced in the summer. Yeah. There were a lot of delays, but still. So last year we did a total of 18 games, with 12 being drafted in the draft.
Okay.
It's 16 total now, and
Okay.
we'll only draft 8 per team.
Okay.
So it's still a longer draft than last year for total rounds or picks, but it's, I think if we were all three of us having to do 12 picks,
A lot of Googling.
yeah.
Well, we'd also probably be just picking games where it's like TBA. It's like rumored Metroid game. It's like, okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure that like rumored Silent Hill reboot is in here. I'm pretty certain. So
hasn't that been a rumored game for like 5 years?
Yes, since PT basically. Yes.
Yeah.
We will have 2 counter picks, which like when we get there we can go over that, Dan. I walked you through a bunch of stuff, but I just shotgunned you with like a ton of details and information about how to deal with this.
You're gonna do a time limit per pick? Do we have like a moment to speak about our thought processes? Or
yeah, well, we're streaming it. You might as well talk about it. So,
I hope Dan is just sitting at his screen like this, silent, and then just saying,
just lots of
God of War.
Insightful
statements.
But yeah, there's no time limit. I think I told you in a DM that like I will walk you through any moments if you get like a little confused at anything that goes on. So it's not no worries about that.
Excellent.
But we will do 2 counter picks total. They did do some. There's a couple of things that they changed in the back end on the website that you can do optionally. So now if we wanted to, I will leave this up to you guys if you want to do this. We can add a counter pick for after the draft. So we would still do 2 counter picks, but later in the year you could do another counter pick if you wanted
that can
to.
be kind of like a sneak attack, right? Because it's just like I just put a sneak.
Huge risk reward though, because if you leave it blank, you automatically lose 15 points.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So if you do not use your extra counter pick, you would be hurt automatically.
Interesting.
So I will leave that one up to you. We are currently at just the 2 counter picks in the draft. I think we should leave it at that because it might get a little messy. There's a couple things that they added this year that I kind of feel like we should just let some of the like kind of funny and easy allies who I'm wearing. They have their like popular takes on this league. I think we should let them kind of be the beta testers on that. And because I can watch their stuff and see how it goes, and maybe next year do that. But so minimum bids I did increase. Last year we did as $1. This not for the draft, by the way, Dan. Yeah. This is just for the pickups later on. So they're $5 now. I think $1 with 3 of us would have just been still a little too lenient on how to pick stuff up.
And how much money do we have total?
100.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty of cash to pick up. The bidding settings, we can do. This is one of the things that changed. Secret bidding is how it has always been. We can change it to public setting, so you wouldn't see how much somebody bids on something, but you would see that somebody was bidding on something. So you could throw in a counter bid if you wanted to, just like not knowing.
I think that's no sneaky grabs.
Okay. That's my bread and butter, but okay.
Oh, little strat.
Yeah. Well, I'm the opposite of Casey. I'm very tied in to paying attention to like release dates and new game announcements and stuff. Like Casey gets the big ones, and I watch daily
you whittle away
coverage.
away at those little games.
Another thing they introduced was trading. I don't think we should do that this year.
With 3 people, it seems silly.
Well, that's the thing, is if we were like 5 or 6 people, I think we could get away with doing it. I think it's too easy to use it as a teaming up on whoever is in the lead thing to like just take somebody down at the knees.
That would have been a good use for it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's more diabolical than hidden bidding. But yeah. We, as far as dropping games goes, so just dropping so you have an extra slot. Games that will release, but you kind of lose your faith in, you have 3 of those on the year. So if something has a date and it is coming out, you can drop 3 of those. Stuff that will not release, unlimited. There's a caveat to that, though. And then any unreleased, meaning I think after the fact, like dropping it after it's already not released. I have that at 0. It's just before whenever it's supposed to come out, you can drop it if it won't release. We're only going to be able to drop games that we draft. If you pick up a game after the draft, you're stuck with it.
Okay.
And then the other lock is counterpicks. If a game on your team is counterpicked, you cannot get rid of it. You are stuck with that, whether it's a 0 or a positive or a negative, you just have it. Which is how
Casey forgot what a counterpick was.
Well,
how would you explain to him?
That's where I was gonna get to. So after we pick our draft, like the stuff that we pick up, we will be going back in for 2 other picks. Those are going to be games from the other 2 teams that you think will either not release or will do bad.
Gotcha.
So they will either get the team that picked them will get a 0 or positive on their team. You would get negative points if you counterpick it. But if it gets a 0 or negative, you then get the equal positive on it. So like Casey picked Halo Infinite. I counterpicked it. It came out and did really well. He got 17 points. I lost 17 points. So
gotcha.
That's, I will do a quick run through on the categories because they also updated this. They did a lot of updates this year. Yeah. So, banned or ineligible stuff is early access, or currently in early access, already started its early access. Director's cuts, so your, Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding. If they announced a Last of Us 2 director's cut, that would be ineligible. Expansion packs, because I just feel like that's not a new game. You're still working on the old game.
Spicy take.
Well, it's just more of what you got. Like it's like the Outer Limits expansion pack it's more Outer Limits. It's not Outer Limits 2. Outer Wild, sorry. I automatically say Outer Limits with that.
Even more Outer Limits.
Yeah. Here's one that I will discuss with you guys because it's a little confusing. Partial remake. This is one of the new ones. So the description on this is ridiculous. It says, this category is hard to define. There are a lot of games that are a little too remade to be a remaster, but too similar to be a remake. They live here. So what I deduct this means by the examples they give, which are like the new version of Demon Souls, the 2018 Shadow of the Colossus, Diablo 2 Resurrected. I think that means literally just bringing, like, using the same skeleton of the game and updating it.
Like they made it really pretty, but it's literally the same game.
Right. It's not just a cleanup of pixels. They are using modern tech to do shaders and like that kind of level of detail on it.
Versus the only thing that comes to mind, like a full remake, would be like Metroid 2 Return of Samus for 3DS a couple of years ago. That was like a full-on remake.
Right, yeah, that would be a standard remake. And then there's reimagining, and both of those are in the allowed category. So partial remakes. Well, no, that's where I think this could be allowed. Okay. This is just by default. It was in the ban tags when I loaded it up. I think this could be allowed because it's still a lot more work to update graphics to that kind of level, I think. Mm-hmm. As opposed to just making something a little sharper. Like I'm trying to think of like the Disney Afternoon collection would be remaster. Like that is a remaster.
Skyward Sword HD remaster.
No, that's in this.
Yeah, I doubt that's different enough, that one.
That is a partial remake because that is
really
well, they did add some features to it. And then locked him behind Amiibo.
Features. That's pretty fucking
No, I know, but that's how granular and ridiculous this description is.
Okay. Interesting.
So I think that this could be allowed because it is like a little bit more than just like we made it a little sharper, brought up the saturation. It's not just like this is reductive, but it's not the sliders. They're actually going in and like doing new textures and new stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
okay.
All right, so let me move that over to be allowed. So these ones we just kind of talked about them, but like ports, not allowed. Already released internationally, not allowed. If it releases internationally first, like say it's coming out in Japan in May, and then it's coming out in the US in November, you can still pick that up as long as it's before it's out in Japan. So like in March and April, you'd be able to pick it up.
What if it comes out internationally but doesn't come out in US this year?
I think it would still count.
Okay.
Because I think it's only that it doesn't allow you to do it. So it says a game that is already released outside of you could still pick it up. You may not get points on it, is the thing. I think that's how it would work. Because it's basing it on Open Critic, and like I feel like you might only get like 6 reviews on it if it's international kind of thing. So I don't know.
Okay.
That one's I think it's just an easier thing.
Any of my picks.
Exactly,
yeah.
It's for the most part that doesn't even really happen very much anymore anyway. Usually it's like a global release at this point, at least on like the double and triple A scale. Next one is remaster. Already kind of discussed that. And then yearly installments. So
Madden.
Yeah, your sports stuff that has a year attached to it, stuff like that. This does not include stuff like Call of Duty. If you wanted to pick up, I'm probably not going to pick up anything Activision Blizzard at this point, but if you wanted to.
Whoa!
So this happened last year kind of too. This was already happening last year. I have some principles. I have a game.
Oh, gotcha. I thought, okay, yes, because of the scandal. That's
Yeah,
that totally makes sense. I thought you were saying like now that Microsoft owns them, I'm not interested.
Well, they don't technically own them yet. That's still like a year down the line.
Okay.
But I do think I left my phone light on. Hold on one second. I do think a little bit of a tangent. I think that this purchase will actually help those problems that are going on at Activision Blizzard. At least a little bit, because the stuff over at ABK is not conducive to how Xbox and Microsoft has been running things for the last like 8 to 10 years. So just as far as my commentary goes on that, but yeah, yearly installments.
I think I agree with you. I think like this was one of the few ways you could kind of shake up leadership from top down.
Exactly. Yeah. Has its own problems. Giant corporation buying a giant corporation, but you know,
yep.
There's positives. So yeah, yearly installments. It is like your sports games, but usually not racing games. It could include stuff like Codemasters stuff, because I think that kind of comes out on a yearly basis. But so some racing stuff may be involved in that too. But
okay, I'm probably not gonna.
Yeah, Gran Turismo's coming out, but I don't know.
Well, that's not an annual.
Well, no, I'm just saying as far racing, picking up racing games.
Yeah.
Allowed tags. I'll go through this quickly because I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. The partial remake one that I just moved over, free to play as long as it's not an announced game yet, or not a already released game yet, rather. So like that Iron Galaxy like wrestling battle royale game, you could pick that up if you wanted to. New game, new gaming franchise. I think that's sort of the same thing almost. Planned for early access. So if they announce that like a game is going to come to early access in August, you can pick that up. It'll probably get some reviews. I don't have a problem with that really. And also when I tried to move it over to the banned tags just to see, it gave me a big warning. You probably shouldn't do this, because if it goes to early access, it in theory could drop 1.0 like within a couple months. So reimagining is like your Final Fantasy VII remake, your Resident Evil 2, like remakes that go even further than remakes. Then just your standard remakes. This is a weird one. Unannounced games. I guess that's your like Silent Hill reboot thing. Virtual reality, and will release internationally first. So, yeah. Those are all the tags. There is another thing that, not to keep putting off this thing because we're 25 minutes in, not to do that. There's another thing they added, which is special game slots. I have this disabled because I think it's a little too strict. It is for like a certain round of the draft. Say like in the third round, we could say it has to be a remake. It has to be virtual reality, something like that. So I just disabled that.
Could be fun, but we can do that next time.
It's yeah.
We could do 7 normal picks, and our 8th one has to be a VR game.
As we all scramble for Moss 2. That's the only one I know.
I think it'd be fun to do next year for sure. Like that, because that I feel like makes it closer to like a fantasy sport, right? Like you have to have this type of game, you have to have this position. I think that'd be interesting.
Wide receiver, your whatever, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe not the like obviously not every pick, but like 1 or 2 would be kind of fun.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where I was like, I want to see how it goes, because who knows, if it doesn't go well, they'll just take it out next year. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Did you play Moss 1, by the way?
I can't really play virtual reality because I get motion sick.
Oh, okay.
Especially with I'm assuming with PSVR, because of the fidelity and whatnot being lower. Maybe like a Quest or a PSVR 2 will do better for me, but whenever I've tried to do that kind of screen on your eyeballs, it doesn't go well.
Have you ever used one? Because I had issues until I got one that you could adjust the distance, and that helped a ton.
I have not.
think I just have a big head, so I needed those lenses just a little bit further apart.
Yeah, I got a big Irish head. I know what that's like.
Well, not fine. I'd still get 6, but like I could play for like an hour and then.
Yeah, my issues also go into like I'm a big Disney parks kind of guy, and 3D screen rides don't love for the same reason.
Oh, so I can't. Oh, I don't know, but like the Harry Potter ride, like I can't do because
they took the VR off of that.
That's right, they took the VR off. But
I think for that reason, yes. And they just got rid of Shrek 4D in Orlando, so
too many people Shreking in the audience.
Yep. Okay, so we are. I guess we're good to start. So let me just make sure we are randomized. For some reason, it's only letting me see 2 names on this. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Randomize. Gonna do it a few times. Okay. We are set. Dan's gonna be up first.
Oh no. Oh no.
So, I have not started it yet. Are we good to go?
Well, I want to talk about a game.
There's no time limit. No time limit. So
okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna start it. When it starts up, if it doesn't bring up a green border around your team, and it probably makes a little ding noise, you might have to just refresh the page. So, I am starting it right now. Did it update for you?
Let me hit refresh. See a green border.
Currently in progress.
Okay.
The draft is currently in progress. It is your turn. Select draft games under player actions.
And you might want to snap your windows so that you do the draft in like a half side of your monitor and then your watch list in the other half of the monitor.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I actually have like draft lists, and then Google for like very quick search.
There you go.
So I don't know if you two are thinking the same thing for first pick, but
there's some biggies that are also iffies, I think, this year.
Is Breath of the Wild 2 coming out this year?
That's one of them.
Because to me, it's like
I don't think there's a release date for sure, but I mean
it's 2022 is how it's listed. So let me give you this little piece of advice. If something is one of the big iffy ones, you might want to save it until a little deeper, not like the end of the draft, but like maybe not your first round. You might want to do something that's a lock just for guaranteed points. I can't guarantee you that, because I don't think I'm going to pick that or God of War in the first round. I can't guarantee if Casey will do that.
I think you want to pick Kirby, Forgotten Land.
Hey,
I'm looking forward
that
to
Kirby.
That game,
Kirby looks pretty decent, man.
It looks. It's a gamble, but I think I would really like it.
I think.
All right,
I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I just don't think those games ever historically get like more than 8s, which in this league.
Yeah. So let me also point that out, Dan.
Points.
A 70 is 0 points for you. So 71, you get 1 point. 72, you get 2 points. 73, you get 3 points. And it goes up and up until 100. After 90 points, it's incremental points. So that people aren't just like full blowing away the competition if they get like 392s or something. The same goes for the negative points. If it goes below, I want to say 60. I'm not positive about that, but it feels right. If you go below 60, anything below that would be incremental loss. So like 59, you'd only lose like half a point. And like 91, you'd only gain half a point.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think I'm going to take your advice, and I'm going to go with a game that is going to come out this year, I think is going to do incredibly well.
And it comes out next month.
Yes.
And it's on PlayStation.
Oh, wait.
Just let him pick.
I'm
going with Horizon Forbidden West.
Exactly. Yeah. That was going to be my first, because I did the same thing last year when we were doing it with just me and Casey. I picked Hitman 3 because it came out a week later. And I was like, guaranteed at least a few points. All right. So let me see here.
Oh, Mikey's next. Okay.
Yeah, I did have to refresh after that, which it shouldn't make us do that every time.
By the way, are we doing a snake order? So if
we are,
last, I go twice.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
So yeah, when it comes back to you, Dan, you got 2 in a row.
Okay. Farewell, Zelda. I really wanted to draft you.
Let me load up my watch list here. I like that I told you to have your watch list up as a tip, and then I didn't do it for myself. Watch list.
Forget, how do you actually draft it?
On the left, you have to click draft game.
Oh, but I go to my watch list.
Yeah, so your watch list, I think that needs some integration. That would be a nice thing next year, I think.
Maybe it'll give me the button too when it's my turn.
Oh yeah, it maybe doesn't have draft game there until...
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this one feels kind of obvious. It also comes out next month. I am going with The Elden Ring.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah,
it's Miyazaki.
It's a safe bet.
Yeah. Like, there's no way that's getting below it, like an 84. Unless George R.R. Martin really wrote a weird overarching story that people just are really offended by.
Yeah.
All right, so
yeah, I think the only way is if it got like review bombed by angry Game of Thrones fans or something.
Right, and like it's a From Software game. If it's getting review bombed, it's positively. Like, it's not going to be negative.
Have you clicked it yet? It's saying I can still draft Elden Ring.
Refresh the page.
I just did.
It's on my list. Is it showing up
on his list?
Yeah. Actually, I need to also refresh the.
Oh, weird! It's also showing Horizon Forbidden West. Oh, it's just on my watch list.
Yeah, maybe you can. It'll stop you if you try. I think.
Probably, yeah. I'm currently readjusting because I didn't think to refresh the pages that I'm showing on the stream.
I am. Dan, tell me about Total War Warhammer 3. Is that the game that Ian used to play a lot in college?
Yeah, Ian really likes that one and that franchise. It's a very niche RTS type fighter. I think the review scores will be good.
Curious.
What's the caption on it? Total War Warhammer 3? Warhammer fans are kind
Casey,
of
I will tell you that was probably going to be my second pick.
Yeah.
That is going to score well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that because I just remember that game, and I remember Ian played the first one way back when. I remember he played it all the time.
But did he play it in person, or did he play the video games?
Oh wait, maybe I'm thinking of something else. But interesting. Yeah, I'll go with that first.
I think that's a good call. That I absolutely was about to pick that as my second pick.
Okay.
Oh, I'm waiting for it to refresh.
All right, and then
there it is.
Yeah, it should be automatic. I think it's just a weird glitch on the first round, and then it should go automatic after that.
And then interesting. It's a really far game. Back. All right, this is quite choice. When was the last time a Gran Turismo game came out? Gran Turismo 6.
Sport.
13.
Jeez. I believe Sport was the last one.
Yeah.
And not to dissuade you, I think the last 3 of them, they had diminishing returns on review scores.
Yeah, not super great. Well, I'm gonna go with something that has I feel like this is gonna bite me in the ass. I'm gonna go with Starfield.
It technically has a date.
I know. I have low faith this will stay in this year, but
here's the thing. It's going to be buggy as shit, but it's still going to score well. I feel like that's the majority of the Bethesda rule. Not to you know.
Dan, did you work at Bethesda? No, you worked at Obsidian.
Yes. You were on. Yeah, you did stuff with New Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
I recall correctly, that's why I got a free copy of that game through Casey's podcast. Because I think
is this definitely coming out this year?
I think I recorded a cover of the Perfect Strangers theme song and sent that to you guys, and that's how you.
Oh yes, you did. For Hellovision.
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so what am I going to do? Let me remove Starfield from my list.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Your watch list doesn't
automatically update.
It does.
Well, it does and it doesn't. Like, it doesn't remove them. It sometimes shows you that stuff has been taken.
Yeah.
But I've had to refresh it as well on the one that you just did. So that's too much of a question. You know what? There's a game that I have been very excited about for a very long time, and it finally has a date, and it's pretty soon. And it looks very adorable and like a Zelda game.
Moss 2.
No. Maybe later. Maybe later. No, that's a little more like Spirited Away, I think. No, I am going to a different game that has a little animal in the front of it. I am going with Tunic.
I was going to say Tunic, damn it. Okay. Gamble. Actually, well, not a huge gamble.
I think it will at least be a high 70s. It may not be in the 80s. It's, but I think it'll be good at least, and that's, you need a safety net.
Unique, unusual games with sort of cute aesthetics always get treated very well.
Yeah, and this has been on the Xbox stage for the last 5 years. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. So.
Well, I'm picking twice now, right?
You are. I need to remember to switch over the visuals on the stream so that people actually see. Oh, it's not updating automatically on that side. That is a shame. Oh, weird. It absolutely is, but it wasn't showing. Okay. Taking the risk.
Well, I'm drafting 2, right? If I was only drafting one,
you're drafting 2, yeah.
Put it off, but I'm not gonna let it go another round. I'm grabbing it just as a gamble.
I would have gone for that maybe this coming round. Yeah.
You seem to really favor games that are coming out soon, so.
With the early picks. With the early picks, you want some guaranteed stuff. That's the thing. You just want a safety net and a good foundation where you can like take a little bit of risk knowing you're gonna get some points. You like, honestly, if I were to put money down on it, I think Horizon is a guaranteed 91, 92. So you have a good foundation. Like,
yeah, like Horizon, I feel like the first game was very beloved, flew under the radar a little bit. It was still pretty popular, but
I would say it took about
It
2 years.
It came out the same day as Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's why it went under the radar.
Switch.
It took about 2 years, and then people flipped over it. I just played the first game for the first time. I have issues with it, but I think that it's automatically already going to be highly scored, but then on top of that, they're going to have like that refinement from iterating a little bit.
Exactly. Like,
so,
they were able to watch and play God of War in the interim, and they're going to...
Yeah, like those combat animations on like the first like gameplay trailers that we got were crazy.
I think it's going to be a huge refinement. It's going to be great, and for a lot of people, it's going to have like a novel factor too because they didn't play the first one. I think it's going to do great. Okay.
Yeah, like the first Horizon had an 89 on OpenCritic, so this is like I feel like a Sony sequel at this point in time is a guaranteed bump up of 2 to 3 points. So,
what's the other racing game that just released like
Forza.
last year? Forza.
Well, like Forza Horizon specifically.
Okay, like I heard that one was spectacular. Like
legitimately, it is the best reviewed game of last year.
Yeah. New ownership by Microsoft clearly didn't like it. They were able to, I don't know, maybe they work really good together. Unrelated, but like that was my concern, was that they might lose a little bit of the magic. But with a recent racing game that did really well.
The thing with Forza though is like Playground was still the ones that had been working on it. Microsoft just bought them after like 3 games. So that, like, I don't think there would have been too much of like change out of personnel with that one.
Yeah.
So
I also think like sorry I'm taking so long on this turn, but like,
no, go for, I don't care. It's fine.
Like when you have a company that makes like Forza games and sort of their model is to like refine and improve, like that works well with Microsoft, where like a Lionhead or like a Rare, when bought by Microsoft, like
exactly,
they run into trouble because they kind of make unusual, risky games.
You're not building, you're starting new every time.
Yeah. You know, I'm not dissing Microsoft at all or anything. It's just like it's whenever they buy a company, it's like, are they going to be able to work together well? Is something to think
it's
about.
Also when they bought Rare kind of situation. Like I think their head was in the clouds with a lot of stuff back in those days, and now I think they have a much clearer path with stuff. It's like another positive of this Activision Blizzard thing is like they just got Toys for Bob. So if Rare is, you know, still dealing with Sea of Thieves and whatever that, I forget the name, like Ever something. It had a mystical deer in it when I saw the trailer. But if they're, you know, focusing on that stuff, they can go to Toys for Bob and be like, hey, make a new Banjo game. Because Toys for Bob they did the Crash stuff recently. They did Spyro, like, and then Activision was like, hey, you did really great on those. You're now a support team for Call of Duty. Yeah.
Oof. Wow, I'm going real deep in the pages here. Ooh, that one would be an interesting one. Okay. I'm gonna go for it.
Wrong page.
Oh, I brought that all up because, like, so Forza raised the bar right before, you know, Turismo has to release. So, like, a lot of time reviews aren't about the quality of the game, but like against expectations.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is I think with Forza, they did have a pretty solid expectation, just because Horizon 4 did really well, just not quite this well. Man,
I grabbed I almost went with something real risky, but like I gotta grab this before I go too far down the list. I grabbed Kirby.
There you go. I'm getting all of my windows confused because I have 2 different windows up for the stream for our teams, but then I'm doing the draft in a different window, and I'm just scrolling all over the place in the wrong way. So,
But Kirby in the Forgotten Land, it's like open world post apocalyptic Kirby. It's like the cutest Fallout game you've ever seen. You know, I'm kind of just I think I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm grabbing it because like even a weird Nintendo game still gets 9s. You know, like
yeah, I don't see that doing below an 80 by any means. Like it's hard for Nintendo's first party stuff to, flop that hard.
Just the degree of polish on them makes them like, enjoyable even when the game underneath is light.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff without a final date on it right now.
Yeah, no.
I have some stuff that I'm like super, like, if this comes out, it's gonna do good. And it's on the smaller scale too, like Annapurna size kind of stuff. Or Devolver even. I think I gotta do one more guaranteed that actually has a quick date coming up soon. I am sticking with why did that just do the watch list? I need to click draft game. That's what I need to do. All right. There we go. I'm going with Sifu. Yeah. I think that game is going to hit very hard on the critic side and may do very weird numbers on the consumer side. But from everything I've heard from people who have played like an hour of it, it is nuts. Like it is, other than like a little bit of level design complaints, they've been saying the combat stuff is some of the best kung fu style gameplay that they've kind of ever played. So yeah.
Right.
So Casey, it is on to you.
Hey, 1 sec. Don't know enough about this game. 1 sec. I know the name of it. No, we're not.
King of Fighters got bad reviews.
What's that?
King of Fighters got bad reviews. I thought people loved that game.
I wasn't looking up King of Fighters.
I know, I'm looking up stuff.
Oh,
the new 15 got bad reviews.
14, the previous one.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like 15. I thought wasn't out yet.
Comes out next month.
Oh, I'm looking up review scores of previous entries in series here.
I can tell you what definitely shouldn't have gotten any good reviews. Was that remake or remaster of Virtua Fighter 5 that was free on PlayStation. That was terrible. Sorry for chewing noises. I just put a Reese's in my mouth.
All right. I'm doing it. I'm going with God of War.
You asshole. That was what I was going to pick.
Like, I just don't think they're not going to release it this year. Like,
there's a chance, man. There's a chance that it slips.
For sure. Don't get me wrong.
I just know
there's
knowing
so many
that
games on here that don't have firm dates that I'm just
yeah,
like,
I know.
I got to get over.
You're going with something with a 2022 general idea on it. Yeah. Because we saw so much of the first game before it came out, and that still got bumped like 3 times. So that's my trepidation on that one. But it is like, it would have been my pick coming up this round anyway, just for the safety.
I mean, kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, I also want a Nintendo game. It's so hard with Nintendo, considering their release strategy is like, hey, we're gonna drop
announce
spotlight.
A game and release it a month later.
Yeah, it's like, here's a spotlight and it's here in 8 weeks, and it's like,
well, that's we don't know the second half of this year whatsoever for Nintendo. Like, Splatoon 3 may or may not be this year, even though they announced it last year. That's the only game they like jumped the gun on, really.
See, I think this would be a fun like subcategory or whatever that like you have to pick one. Is like, I feel like you should have to pick a Nintendo game.
Yeah, I mean, we could
like,
do
roll
that
the
for
dice.
next year.
Because like Advance Wars, that's a reboot, or I guess remake, but it's like, I feel like those are so beloved that those are gonna do well.
I can tell you right now, Dan has the strongest team so far.
I know.
First pick, baby.
Yeah, that Horizon, ugh, that hurts.
I'm not picking Tiny Tina because I just find that game annoying, and I want nothing to do with
I have never cared about. The only Borderlands game I liked was Tales from the Borderlands because it was a Telltale game. So
I don't think I'm gonna go with Lego Star Wars.
That's the one I was saying earlier that I would have picked up, but new story came out, and I don't want to pick it up anymore.
I'm over the Lego game. Well, I mean, I never really played them to begin with, but like, I feel like most people are over them, and it's like, how good. I feel like those games are the epitome too of like.
This game has more hype than a Lego game has had for like a decade.
I could give a shit.
Because they're finally changing them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wait.
All right. I'm gonna pick a Nintendo game.
The new Lego Star Wars game it's more like a third-person action-adventure game as opposed to that like wide-out camera. They created a whole new engine for this game, and like, but the thing is, for me, I was really excited for this game for the last 2 years, and they dropped a gameplay trailer the other day, and it was the same day that the story of like how they treated their workers came out. I was like, God damn it! Like,
all right, I'm going with the Nintendo game. I'm going with Bayonetta.
Fuck.
Ooh, it's a good one.
This is much harder.
When was this announced? It was 2017. Like, it has to be coming out this.
We just got a trailer that wasn't just a logo last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is this year. Metroid Prime, no, but this, yes.
At this point, I feel like Metroid Prime 4 might as well be canceled. Like, they've literally showed its logo, 3 years ago?
Well, they completely restarted the whole process.
That too.
But to be fair, Retro's in charge of it now. So
I know.
Okay. What to do? Not doing the Saints Row reboot. This is way tougher with a third person.
I mean, you basically have to be okay with there's no firm date.
It's tough being the middle spot on this, because like, you guys at least can be like, well, I have a backup.
Yeah.
If you needed it, but like, I'm kind of stuck.
Weirdly, it's much easier to choose. It's much easier to choose when you choose 2 at a time, because it's like, well, one of these can be a bad decision.
Right. Like, one of these can backfire a little bit, and it's okay.
You want to pick Pokemon Legends.
I'm sure the Pokemon game will be great, but it's going to get review bombed for sure.
With that frame rate?
Yeah. That game.
I mean, but that's the thing. The review bomb doesn't matter.
It's good. God bless them if it's good. It has nothing that interests me.
But that's the thing, Dan, is this is only the critics review score.
Oh,
so like
okay.
It can get review bombed and it doesn't matter.
Oh, that changes some of this calculus going on. Okay.
Yeah, I probably should have clarified that earlier, but
no, it wouldn't have changed any of my picks.
no,
I
you still
barely know what I'm doing.
still have the strongest team right now.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm front loading my team right now. I keep hitting watch list every single time. And triangle strategy.
I looked that one up. What is that one?
That is it was Project Triangle Strategy. Square Enix, the 2.5D. They did Octopath. Well,
gotcha.
They didn't do Octopath Traveler. It's the same engine being used on it, and it's another team doing it. But this, where that was like an old school Final Fantasy brought into that style game, this is like Final Fantasy Tactics in that style. I played the demo. It is very good.
Okay. So, this game will do well. I actually, I'm looking at it. My next pick was going to be something for similar reasons, but this one's a better version of it.
Oh well, fuck you too.
No. Yours is a better version. Your pick
okay. Weird brag, but all right.
I'm gonna go with Forspoken.
Yeah, I want that too. God damn it! I don't like being in the middle.
I'll be right back.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Same exact reason. It's like it's a Square RPG.
I really like how that game looks.
Yeah, coming out soon. It looks it's got a little bit of a hooks and stuff.
Is it April or May?
Just to complete my Nintendo fandom here, I'll throw on the Mario and Rabbids.
I knew you were
throw on the Mario and Rabbids game.
Oh, okay. I thought for sure you're taking that because you're the only person I know who played it.
I played it.
They were very good.
The first game was phenomenal. It was for the type of game it is. If you're not into like that tactical kind of stuff, but like it's. Yeah, I think that was the game that shocked everybody the most that year.
I guess that's true. No one was kind of crossover games and Rabbids games are kind of
like. It leaked a week before E3, and everyone was like, "The fuck is this game when Mario has a gun?" And then it wound up being very good. Like, I'm gonna double check that score actually.
It scored well.
Yeah, but I want to see just how well.
Here's the thing: is that like
it scored an 85.
85.
Yeah, so that would be 15 points if it scored the same amount. Now expectations are on it though, so it could be a little lower. But I don't think it's scoring less than an 80.
Also, I feel like I'm gonna drag Ubisoft here a little bit, but I don't think I know anyone who works there, so I'm gonna go for it. I loved the Mario elements. Didn't really like the Rabbids elements.
Yeah, but that's still not like the gameplay aspect.
Yeah, but like now that they're doing the sequel and it's proved and it's made by the Rabbids studio, I feel like it's going to shift from like a 60-70% Mario, 30% Rabbids game to like a 70% Rabbids game, 30% Mario game. And
are you worried that we're basically going to get the same thing with the Mario movie because the Minions team is making it?
A little bit of Mario movie thing going on. I'm gonna do it. Why not? I'm drafting.
I think that's a good one. I would have been picking that too.
Terrible idea, but I'm gonna do it. My dog.
Maybe not, but maybe not.
Could be good. I mean, the game will be good, but like reviews are hard to pin down.
I am pretty glad that we didn't do this a week ago. Because I had something I was watching that might have been like a deep cut game for the
Windjammers?
No, that was not on. I never played that, but I did see a demo of it right before the pandemic hit at PAX, and it was very pretty. The booth was just that and Streets of Rage 4. It was the most beautiful animation one booth could contain.
Yeah.
No, I would have thought about Rainbow Six Extraction.
Ooh.
But it came out yesterday and I guess didn't do great.
Ooh.
So I feel thankful that we bumped it a little bit.
I'm regretting both my picks because I'm looking in Forspoken's coming out soon, but there's a Forspoken : something else coming out soon. So I'm like, oh shoot, are they doing like an installment thing where the initial game will be incomplete?
Really?
Yeah, like Forspoken's coming out in May, and Forspoken : In Tanta We Trust is coming out this winter.
Oh, I think that's just gonna be DLC.
Yes, it is.
That'll be like Intergrade probably.
It's a risk though because depending on how well development went,
yeah,
it might feel like an incomplete launch game.
It's a prequel storyline.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, okay. I don't think we have to like. What was the game that actually like had the true ending like in DLC that you had to buy? Like it was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Geez.
But like, I don't think we're gonna see that happen again, because that wasn't
that Mass Effect 3?
Mass Effect 3. That's what it is. So more than 5 or 6 years ago, but yeah.
Just Square Enix. Yeah, they know what they're doing. All right, for Forspoken. Okay. All
right. So I think I have to start doing non-dated stuff now.
The time of night has come.
The orc army is coming my way, and I need some bangers, even if they're risky. I think I am going to go with. Oh man, I wish I had a backup of a second pick. Like this is. It feels like there's so much added pressure when I can only go once, and you guys are like bookending me like two picks at once.
Yeah. I think you got the worst spot.
It's fine. I won last year. I'm far less confident this year than I was last year.
Well, it's a thinner playing field, that's for sure.
And somebody that's in the gaming industry that has some idea to pay attention to. I am gonna go with the Plague Tale follow-up game.
I think it's funny if I ever just panic and unload one of my games. I wonder why he did that.
All right.
There needs to be an IMDb for video games so that we can just pay attention to if you're on a game ahead of time. So we see it drop off your list and compare.
Let's see. What else has release dates coming up? Let's just look real quick. I do not know any.
I say you should pick up the Haunted Chocolatier, which will definitely come out this. It's the Stardew Valley guys next game. But it's not going to come out this year. There's no way that comes out this year. It got teased at the end, like that indie Nintendo Direct thing that happened like in December. So I don't think that's this year.
Yeah. Wow. The last game with the confirmed date is Sons of the Forest. Don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So
you're going to go with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
Well,
I'm honestly kind of interested in that game. I don't think it's going to be a great game. I'm just like intrigued by it. Not by the fact when they unveiled that game, I was like, this actually looks kind of cool. It's a cinematic trailer, but whatever. And then like right afterwards, they put out a blog post that was like, in this open world, God damn.
Okay, let me check one quick thing. Sorry, just curious
You're
how
fine.
this developer has scored at Open Critic previously.
You're picking up Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Who's even publishing that? Is that, well, I assume EA or something, but
No, I don't believe it's EA.
okay.
No, it couldn't be. I would assume it's WB Games. They own the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Oh God, this seems like a choice of mine. But
I want to go back and play
long.
Shadow of Mordor again.
What?
I never finished Shadow of Mordor. I want to go back and actually play that again.
Is that the sequel?
That was the first one.
Oh,
Shadow of War is the sequel, and I own it because I bought it on sale for like $6, but it's like there's too much like sort of tower defense in it. Not that into that. So
all right, I'm gonna go with a game that I've not seen this publisher or developer put out a game in quite a while, and I'm hoping they have not lost a step.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick Suicide Squad.
Dicey.
I know.
I have a feeling that one slips.
Yeah, probably. And then what was the other game I was gonna do? Oh yeah. Hold on a sec. I'm also gonna go with, because you guys were hyping it up, I'm gonna go with Moss Book 2.
You are guaranteed points on that.
Right.
I like there's no, it's a smaller pick that's a little bit more like,
that's fine.
I feel like it's a guaranteed high 70s. It's not like a huge thing for you, but like
I can live with that.
Points.
What's that?
Spring.
Spring? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I am going to also delve into the Warhammer franchise and go with Darktide.
Darktide.
I mean, it's a Left 4 Dead like kind of. It's like normal Warhammer is the fantasy like medieval stuff, and 40,000 is like the sci-fi stuff. Your Warcraft versus Starcraft kind of, and they have Vermintide, which is a Left 4 Dead like that's set in that universe for the fantasy side, and then this is a Left 4 Dead like in the sci-fi universe. So I think that'll do pretty well.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Suicide Squad gets the same attention that Guardians of the Galaxy got, which surprised everyone.
I think Square played that real well, announcing it 3 months before it came out, and then just letting expectations be like super low after Avengers. Like they worked the room on that one, man. I do want to go back and play that, but I need to like save my money for new games this year because
I'm just waiting for it to come to Game Pass.
Oh yeah, it's a guaranteed. It might take 9 months. I
cannot imagine that game sold well. It's already all over the place for $25 to $30, and I'm just like, I may as well wait.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me how high, like, it made it on Polygon's Game of the Year list. It was top 10. It's like number 8.
Oh, Tina Wonderlands is a Borderlands property?
Yeah, with one of the most annoying trailers I've ever seen.
It is sort of a Borderlands game, but it's not a Borderlands game. It's a character from Borderlands that is running a tabletop game, and you're one of the characters playing the tabletop game. But it's the same style. It's probably the same gameplay. This is a little more like fantasy rather than Borderlands. And if you like Tiny Tina, it will probably be fine. I think Tiny Tina is one of those characters that might be too much is a bad thing.
Little goes a long way.
Ashley Birch is
never.
Yeah, Ashley Birch is a phenomenal voice actress. I don't love that character personally. I do prefer Aloy between her sort of two biggest characters.
Well, didn't know anything about it, but I'm grabbing a game about a cat called Stray.
Ah, you bastard.
It looks like it'll probably release. From the little clips I just Googled, like I don't know if the gameplay is there, but I think it'll get treated nicely.
I think that's going to be like in August.
August? Oh.
Yeah. Or it could shadow drop around like if some like they're not doing a digital E3 or whatever. So around Games Fest time, Summer Games Fest time. Keely's in charge now.
Oh shoot, man. Now it sucks picking two in a row.
Yeah, now it's getting a little more nitty-gritty.
Yeah. Let me take a look for
Casey, what were you just asking about doing sales? Guardians, right?
Yeah. I forget, we're not picking DLC, right?
We are not picking DLC.
Okay. Then I will not pick that.
Oh, that's right. There's a bunch here that I keep skipping, but are probably good to reevaluate now. That's coming out too late. Shoot, that is a gamble. The Ghostwire Tokyo. Do you guys know anything about that?
Ghostwire, I was very, very excited for. And then the director left the studio. And that was before we ever saw gameplay. And it's the Evil Within team. So I was stoked on it. But she left. And then they unveiled gameplay, and it's like first person action as opposed to being like a horror action game. Like it's not over the shoulder like Evil Within. The style is a little too much for me. I think that is a little more of an unknown for like how that's going to score.
Okay. Okay, what's this Weird West one? Oh, Devolver Digital. Okay.
I think some people have that pretty hyped up.
Yeah, Devolver Digital does good. I mean, they're a publisher, but they're good at curating talent.
Yeah, I think it's a little. I think it's an isometric game, maybe.
Ooh,
like kind of Wastelandsy from screens I've seen, but
I'm gonna draft it.
It looks like Guardians was not in the top 20 bestsellers last year.
Yeah,
according to Venture Beat. So, all right, my turn again.
There's a game coming out called I Am Jesus Christ.
Sure, why not? Video games can have any title they want.
Also, I like how the game Gloomwood release date is soon.
TM. Yeah. Because that's what it was in the trailer. But they've that's really? Ineligible because I think they already had a beta on PC. So
okay, that's funny.
I think that's sort of like a throwback first-person shooter. Where you're in like the Old West, but it looks like a 90s PC first-person shooter kind of. There is something on this list that I feel like should be a guarantee, but I'm actually kind of nervous about it because I feel like people are going to.
What's the game?
It's a remake.
Not what I
Saw a Final Fantasy Dead Space remake?
No. I'm stoked for that, but no. That doesn't even have like a year attached to it, so I'm very trepidatious about picking that one. Yeah, yeah,
Advance Wars?
Yeah, it's Advance Wars. I think I gotta go for
People
that.
love those games.
I know. I just think that like some people, because it's not a very intense remake, and I just feel like it's. I think people are gonna be like, now that the rose-colored glasses are off of it, it'll be positive, but it won't be like in '87 like the original game was.
Admittedly, they have not shown much.
The art style is pretty much just a smoother version of the original.
I know, so, but I'm just saying I believe all they've shown was when they announced it, and it was, a minute long of gameplay.
Yeah.
Like for all we know, there might be.
But what do they have to show much of that to really sell people on it? I don't think.
No, I mean, it's people love when they bring back a franchise that Nintendo hasn't touched in a while, and it is weird they never did more with that franchise, considering they were both beloved.
Yeah.
And then did they make a DS Advance Wars? I think they did.
It's also it's not the original studio that made it.
No, it's not. But I'm just like, I'm trepidatious on. I'm not trepidatious about the game. I'm trepidatious about the reaction to the game. I think people are going to be strict on it because it's so well regarded, the original one. So I feel like if it's not blowing people away, it's gonna fall a little short. But yeah, I took it. I gotta start diversifying.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's my turn, right?
2, 3,
last
pick. Looking at other people's
yeah,
lists.
these are, we're going into the final round.
Okay. Draft game. Available games. Show watch list.
I think I have my last one picked out, and I would be shocked if YouTube grabbed it.
So you took Advance Wars, right? Okay.
I did, yeah. There's still so many that are like guaranteed good scores that just are unknown quantities for like dates.
Oh. Wow. Yeah. Ollie World. I know Ollie games would get really good.
I am so stoked for that game, dude.
I did not like
skateboarding.
I don't think it's
like Ollie when I played it.
So here's the thing. Ollie 1 I think was very, very good. Ollie 2, I didn't like where they went with the art style on it. They took the pixel art and kind of smoothed it out a little too much for my style. Or for my liking, rather. This new one looks like Adventure Time. And it has a story mode. And it now has like levels that are multi-tiered. So like you go up and you hit a quarter pipe and you come back and you go left. And you go back down, you go right. Like I think they've done a ton of iteration, but also blew up the art style in a way that I think people are going to be very high on it. But not like, it's not a guaranteed kind of game.
Interesting.
I found
art style is pretty different.
So when I played the first game, it was actually when I visited you. Was it when I visited you? It was 2018. Maybe? No. It was 2016.
Huh.
And I was out. I bought it on my DS and played it on the plane and while I was out there. Yeah.
These look fun. Much different than I was expecting.
Yeah, the art style is very good. There are banana people in it.
Was Ollie Ollie the was that the skateboard series that was founded by ex Neversoft guys? Tony Hawk guys?
I don't know. It's a side-scrolling skateboarding game. That's all I know. I don't honestly. It's Roll7 is the studio.
It's very strange that we have a game called Ollie Ollie and another one called Oxenfree.
That is actually true. Yeah. That will probably score pretty high too.
Oxenfree, I wanted to grab it, but it doesn't have a release date, and I know. Well, actually, that was only my second concern. That
Netflix, is that your other concern?
Out on time, but like,
well, it's technically not. It's not sequel. It's not indie anymore either.
It's not indie?
No, that studio got bought by Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's their first game.
That is interesting. Oh, wow. That is very interesting. Okay. That
doesn't say anything about the game itself. It's just fascinating. Like,
get the resources to release.
They'll have more money. Yeah.
I'm more worried about the fact that it's a direct sequel to a narrative game. Like, it's very hard to have an unusual narrative-driven game and then make a sequel to it that picks it up, where we left off. And
from the tiny bit of trailer stuff that I've seen, like all they've shown is like a 20-second single screen of like a little bit of an animation or whatever. It looks like they're getting, like, the first game had weirdness to it. Mm-hmm. This one looks like it multiplies that by a lot. It looks like it's going to be real weird, and I think they're leaning into the stuff that will make it stand out against the predecessor. So,
all right. So I took Ollie Ollie World.
Ollie Ollie.
And I feel like my last pick. Oh,
grab
God.
That Lego Star Wars, Casey. You know you want it.
Ugh. It's going to score decently.
Well, I've got one.
I just have my new issues with it that I'm like really bummed out about.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Star Wars fans are not known for being petty. Oh yeah, we're not.
Oh no, but see, I don't think that this would affect that group of Star Wars fans.
That's true.
They, like, some of the reports were like managers would like follow, like, if somebody was like, okay, it's 5:00, I'm going home, they would like follow them to their car and be like questioning their loyalty to the company. Like, it's really messed up.
Wait, the company that made
TT Games. Yeah.
Ooh.
Traveler's Tales. Yeah, it's really screwed up, man. And it's Lego. It's like the antithesis of how Lego has been operating for like 20 years, trying to be like a really cool to everybody company.
All right. You've convinced me. I'll do it. To Star Wars.
Right after all that.
We were just talking about how terrible
how horrible that company is. But
great.
the game is going to score decently. It's a guaranteed at least high 70s. I think it'll probably be low 80s.
Look, we're not talking politics here. We're talking points.
A lot more reviewers are taking that into account, though. Yeah. Like, was the suffering worth what is on the I was gonna say like what's on the screen, but I kind of faded because I was like trying to what's on the chip, what's on the pixels.
I also like the idea that like the suffering is warranted if the game is really good.
Right. Yeah. I am going with something that I feel could very easily miss its window on, because it is listed as Holiday 2022.
Oof.
No way. No way.
I am going with Sea of Stars.
Oof.
Okay.
It is an RPG that looks like a chrono game made by the team that made The Messenger. It looks beautiful. And I'm sure the writing will be fantastic because the writing on The Messenger was extremely good. I just played that for the first time in November.
Ooh,
yeah.
wow, this game looks real nice.
It's stunning, right?
Ooh, ooh, yeah.
It's like the prettiest Super Nintendo
Daddy
game
like.
ever made.
Yeah, Daddy like.
Yeah.
Have either of you heard of this Crossfire game?
Crossfire X is that even eligible? Is it Crossfire
Not coming
X?
out till February.
Weird. Because
I hadn't heard of it. It looks a little generic, but it's made by Remedy Entertainment, which did...
Well, so here's the thing. It is one of the biggest multiplayer games globally. And that's not made by Remedy. Remedy is making the campaign for it. So it's a weird situation. They like Xbox announced that they made a deal for console exclusivity back in like 2015, I want to say.
It is the world's most played video game by player count, with a lifetime total of 1 billion users in 80 countries worldwide.
Yeah.
It is first released in 2007.
Yeah. And Remedy is making a campaign for it that comes out soon, yeah. I just figured it was ineligible because I thought the multiplayer was already available here. If it's not, then you're good to go. I just don't know much about it.
I was going to grab it, but all this new details...
It's a very weird situation.
Yeah.
Apparently the actual title for this would be called Crossfire X.
Crossfire X, yeah.
Going to be
well, that was the name of the other game too.
Yeah.
Like the multiplayer was that too. I don't know how long you've been in that position, Casey. You're like half. Oh, okay. I was like, when you came back from the bathroom, maybe you've been like two-facing it with the side of the camera, or you left the room for a minute, whatever it was.
Yes.
I haven't been paying attention, and you like where you were just slouching, you were two-facing it in the camera frame. So
like this.
Yeah. Well, now you're just out of the frame, but that's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna just take a quick look at the ones available. Because single player campaign of a very popular multiplayer game that seems risky.
Yeah, I would say that's a thing you could probably hold off on. You could probably wait for previews to come out and then go for it as a pickup.
By the way, for counter picks, do I get to say one for you and one for you, or can I put both on you?
You could put both on one team. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Interesting.
I wish Stalker was coming out sooner. It's slated for December, and it's probably not going to hit this year. So
well, that was supposed to come out like a month from now, and it got delayed like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I feel like that December date is like they're basically pulling a Halo. Like they're giving themselves almost a whole year. So I feel like it could make that December date, but it's still like you could probably wait on that. Like you're the last pick. So you don't waste a free pick on something that is unknown.
Oof.
Or at least that unknown.
Ooh. Ooh. Gosh.
I think the you were talking about Oxenfree. I think that's a solid pick, even though it is like a not dated. It's just window of this year. But
yeah, well, knowing that Netflix bought them makes me more confident that it'll come out. But
because I'm sure they expanded their team and everything. So
when's Company of give me a search of Company Heroes 3. That was a great game. July. Relic, so it's the original company.
I will be right back. This time I'm going to use the restroom.
Gross.
Sorry.
Hey, you know what? I'm doing it.
Oh, Casey might have the first pick for counter picks. So we might have to vamp after.
You can vamp. He does. He has first counter pick.
Yeah. What is Company of Heroes?
Well, Mikey,
Yeah.
of the remaining available games, which ones do you think are going to be highest scoring?
Horizon.
I'm shocked.
Of the
I almost
remaining
picked Dying
games.
Light, but I typed it into OpenCritic, and I was surprised that the scores were lower than I thought.
Oh, it's like in the low 70s, right, on the first one.
I thought people liked Dying Light.
I think the fans like Dying Light. I think the critics don't. Okay. So like, it's not like they have the fan score on here, but like it just doesn't take that into account. So it makes it a little more simplified. Like that's the thing with them using OpenCritic too, is like they want it to be a little more simplified than what Metacritic does, because they would have to average out each console and each platform score from Metacritic, because they list it as like the Xbox version, the PC version, the whatever. OpenCritic just smashes those scores together in an average, and it just makes it easier to deal with, because it's for the most part all the same scores. Yeah,
I think Hollow Knight, if we knew it was going to come out, would be like a guaranteed 9, you know?
I'm telling you, man, I drafted it last year. I dropped it 3/4 of the way through the year because I lost my composure on it, rightfully. And then I had no more picks by the end of the year, and Casey had a couple slots left, and I was like, they just announced an indie direct, so you might as well pick it up because you need to pick stuff up because you're behind. Even if it doesn't get anything, it would have been a guaranteed extra like 20 points. So Casey, you have the first counter pick. Casey, do you hear me?
Now I do. Jesus.
Okay. You have the first counter pick.
Ooh.
Yeah, it flips the order for the counter picks.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Sorry.
I think that didn't affect us last year because it was just the two of us, so it just bounced back and forth. So.
What did you pick? You picked Company of Heroes 3.
Is that an RTS?
Yep.
Okay.
Draft counter pick.
I'm picking it because I loved it. I actually don't know how good of a review score.
Hey, we all technically have an RTS. So that's not we all have a guaranteed okay score on RTS.
So just remind me again. So if for the counter pick, let's say I pick Horizon, that's me betting that it's not going to come out.
That it's either not going to come out and get a 0, or that it's going to do bad. So
okay.
That is going to get
choice.
Right. That is going to get a 90 to a 92 for sure. So you would lose
22 points or something.
Well, it's the incremental points after 90, so like maybe 21.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh, there's another thing that it's not active yet in the settings that I forgot about. It's like it's not going to come until like what would be E3 time. They're doing a thing called the Blue Shell, who is like whoever's in last place, and if you're losing by a lot, even if you're locked into something, you will be able to drop your lowest score game, so that you can then like make it a positive spot. So like if for some reason Forspoken, like if Dan was losing by like 40 points and Forspoken did like terrible and got like a negative 23 or something.
Yeah.
If that's active, he would be able to drop that and pick something up in its spot, even if we counter pick it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to pick.
I'm not confident.
Am I picking 2 in a row as well, or is it just one?
I don't know.
Okay.
If anything, I would assume it's going to snake starting with you. You would go 1, me 1, Dan 2, me, you.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Sea of Stars just because it's so far out.
Fucking asshole.
But it's also an indie game, so I feel like they probably
If it comes out, I think that scores very well. I'm nervous it doesn't come out. So you, like, best case scenario for both of us is if it doesn't come out, then it's just eating up a spot on my team.
Yeah.
And I can't do anything about it. So it's honorary negative points because I can't get positive points. So.
My cat is playing with something. I need to go see what it is, but it's your turn, Mikey.
It's I'm gonna guess it's tail, as cats will do. I'm
gonna guess the cat has devoured Delina.
No, she's not here.
That because the cat ate her.
Yeah.
Not the clothes though. The clothes are just laid out on the bed.
Perfectly.
Just the bodies gone.
Like the rapture?
Yep. You are now Liv Tyler in The Leftovers.
I think my wife was raptured.
Man. I am worried about counterpicks this year. I think this could actually like do some real damage this year.
You two did a pretty good job of doing sane picks.
Doing sane picks, like stuff that's guaranteed.
Stuff that won't slip.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, how well do some of these score? Like, that's... You're like, between your two teams, God of War makes me, if I had it on my team, would make me a little nervous about it coming out. Suicide Squad, I think I have even more trepidation about Regent State.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my team has the most in terms of counterpick potential.
Well,
but
Dan has Breath of the Wild too.
Release,
if they that's the gambit. Yeah, like if they come out, they're guaranteed good scores. Like that's.
I mean, I sure hope so. They're all good developers.
Yeah.
Look at the social feed of some friends who work at Sony Santa Monica. See how hard they're working.
They got time to tweet. They got time to clean.
They working on their game. Look.
He's gonna tweet at Alana Pierce like, "How's the writing going?"
Hey, you want to hang out or are you busy? ...
I think because the other DC game is not guaranteed, but more likely to come out this year, I think WB could push Suicide Squad into next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with that as my first counter pick.
I don't blame you.
And also, I think a lot of people are nervous about that gameplay reveal because it is so different from the Arkham games. And I think, like, the Arkham Knights, or not Arkham Knights, Gotham Knights, people are willing to give a little more leeway with, because Arkham Origins, everyone was like, that was okay. I'd like to see where they go next. Because it frankly has one of the best boss fights of all the Arkham games, and it's not in the mainline trilogy.
That Stroke one?
Yep.
Never played that one.
It's solid. I would say it's, if the Arkham games from Rocksteady hadn't come out and they just put that out, I think everyone would have been like, hey, that was pretty impressive. But because it lived in the shadow of the first two games, everyone just kind of went hard on it.
Damn, you look like you're really, really struggling with Secret Counter.
I am.
It's a tough list of games to be like, I hope this doesn't do well.
I mean, even, like, I was tempted to take Breath of the Wild too. I'm like, ooh. There's just so much unknowns, but I feel good though. Oh, Nintendo's got a bunch of games coming out. If that.
My thing with Nintendo and Breath of the Wild 2 is I feel like they're saving it for a hardware reveal.
Well,
like the next iteration of the Switch is where you're
it
gonna
turned
get
7 this year.
Yeah.
Fucking hard to believe.
Well, I'm very, very sorry, Casey.
It's fine.
But I'm gonna counterpick Lego Star Wars.
Okay.
I think people are gonna compare it to the previous type of Lego game, and I think it's not gonna get reviewed as favorably.
It turned 5 this year, the Switch.
5?
2017.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. I think you're confusing 2017 with 7 years ago. Like using the 7 and just sort of doing that.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm gonna counterpick Starfield because I feel like there's a chance
going hard on Casey.
I wasn't picking on you. Which ones are the ones that I think are were terrible choices made by a terrible person.
Wow.
No,
brutal.
Starfield looks like it's slated for November. Bethesda has a bunch of other stuff.
11/11. They like their alliterative dates.
That's true.
It's fair. I get it. Y'all coming for me? Not miss. Best not miss.
I wanted to focus on Mikey because he's more likely to like fine tune throughout the year, like really dial in.
I do. I get really into this.
I like to set it and forget it. No more games.
Ronco Fantasy League. This is where it gets like in a sports fantasy league, you're getting to the point where like, well, I don't want the guy that is on my home team to actually do bad. Like in real life, I want it to do good. I want it to be a good thing.
I now have I forgot that I also now cannot drop these games.
Yeah, you're stuck.
3 locked games.
Although you could get the blue shell.
True.
I'm surprised. I picked 3 Nintendo games that might not come out this year. Like, is it too like scary because if they do come out, it'll be high? Or
Nintendo games that are on Switch, but Mario Rabbids is Ubisoft. So I feel like
Mario, that's most likely going to come out this year.
I think that is your guarantee of the 3.
Yeah.
Especially since they're like out of that umbrella where they delayed like 4 games for like a year and a half, and they just had like no games for a year and a half. And I think it's the releases started with Watch Dogs Legion and then Extraction. So I think they're back on now. Whatever that means for Ubisoft. And they have all of their same open world games ready to go now. That's what that means. Fuck. This sucks. Breath of the Wild 2 is the only thing on Dan's team that I'm like, it may not come out. And
counterpick it, and then there'll be an announcement tomorrow.
That's what's gonna. Well, I feel like if it does come out this year, it's second half of the year, so it's like June is when we get the announcement of that. I need to look up. Oh Jesus! The first Company of Heroes was a 93.
It was very good. It
was also 2006.
Yeah.
Company of Heroes 2 had a 80 in 2013. I don't know enough about that to like be confident in counterpicking it.
Company Heroes 2 really, I think, leaned into like software as a service type model, I think, before people were ready for it.
Gotcha. Oh boy. I'm telling you, man, when I do the drop down menu for like the list of things I can counterpick, a very strong lineup of games. It's a daunting list of games. Fuck.
I definitely picked some games that like were gambles. Stray, I have no idea. Weird West.
I think they're only gambles on release dates though. I think everything in your team is like a guaranteed good to very good score if it comes out. So the best I can hope for is a 0 if it doesn't release. And unfortunately, that means I have to fucking pick the thing that's going to be the best score of the year if it comes out. God fucking damn it.
Botto 2.
I lost. I lost this year. This is God.
Hey, what did you just pick?
Oh, Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. I want the critics to say like we've actually decided to invent a new number to get this game.
They're just going to start giving it S++s.
Yeah. And hey, it might not be, might not be high 90s.
I guess if I have to pick something,
it doesn't matter if it's high 90s. If it's low 90s, you're still getting at least 20 points.
I'm going to look to see, because the thing that comes to Zelda direct sequels, Majora's Mask comes to mind, which I think had a tough release, didn't it?
No, not critically.
I think it was still like reviewed well.
Extremely well.
Yeah. Just not as good as Ocarina.
It's been reviewed better as time goes on.
As time went on.
Well, definitely as time goes on, people have kind of like...
I mean,
I think
not that it really matters now, but I'm pretty sure EGM gave it a gold.
Yeah.
Or if maybe a platinum. I don't even know. I mean, it's a good game.
I think because of the age that we were when it came out, it was confusing and hard to deal with the timer aspect of that game. So our community, like age group, I think when it first came out was like, this game sucks because we can't play it well. And so I think over time our age group was like, oh no, it's fantastic. As soon as we were like, we had the mind frame to be able to actually like deal with it.
Okay.
Casey, Dan has the strongest team still.
Yeah,
just throwing that out there.
No, I know. I'm counter picking one of his.
Beautiful. Or you could just counterpick Elden Ring.
Yeah, why not? God, I would love for that game.
Microsoft owns Sekiro now. That's crazy. Both sides of the console wars owns a highly regarded From Software game.
Oh God, I'm tempted to pick Stray because as much as I think that game looks pretty and cool, like I just wonder.
I feel like that. I feel like that definitely comes out this year.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't come out. I'm just saying I don't know if it reviews well.
I was excited when it was you play a cat walking around a world, and I'm like, ooh,
right.
like a
sold
post-apocalyptic cyberpunk robot world.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
Then, that's where I'm like, okay, no, that's not what people want. Like,
well, it's Annapurna though. Like,
it's what?
It's Annapurna. Like, I think the people who play Annapurna games definitely want that.
Oh.
Especially like the folks who loved like Sayonara Wild Hearts, like me.
I guess I'll go with Weird West then, just because like I just don't
know
anything about it. And I don't think it'll get me a lot of points if it goes negative, but I just think
draft complete. So
okay,
we are looking at for. Let me go to the actual thing that the stream can see. For games that are coming out soon, it is mostly me.
Yeah, you would definitely err
So
on the side of
Sifu,
soon.
and then Casey's
you and
got
I have Ollie
yeah.
World and Sifu on the same day.
Yeah, but like just like I have 4 of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games coming out. Sifu, Ollie World, Total War, Warhammer 3, Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Triangle Strategy, Tunic, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Weird West, and Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is how the first stretch of this looks. Cool, guys. So this is a whole new thing, this little timer that pops up for bids.
Oh, yeah.
So you could go in right now and throw in some bids for some games. If you wanted to, I would probably save it a little bit.
I want to wait and see a few more games get announced.
Let's get in a bidding war for Skull and Bones, the Ubisoft pirate game that was announced 27 years ago and still hasn't come out. It's you're better off waiting at least probably a couple weeks, see if anything.
If no one else bids, you can get games for $5 a pop, right?
Yes.
So that's like 20 games throughout the year.
Well,
you can only get up to 16.
there's a limit of 16 on each team, so you have 8 spots that you can fill up. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
I felt like that was enough leeway to like get a decent amount of money on a single game without, busting out your entire bank. So, yeah, cool. That was
all right.
That was certainly a time.
I'm gonna go crack a beer and have some candy because I bought some because I have the house to myself tonight.
Ooh.
So
really
I don't know if either of you have turned on advanced projections. As of right now, I am projected to lose, and Casey is projected to win.
Who, Dan?
No, you are.
Ooh.
Really?
Yep. Casey is
the
projections right now don't mean anything. They're based more on the hype factor. But like Casey's at 121, Dan, you're at 113, and I'm at 105. So
dump all my games. What did I do wrong?
I mean, you're still in second.
Maybe you did everything wrong.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that'll do it then.
I know how we did.
Well, you only got 11 and a half months to go.
Okay.
Well, a little less than that. We're more than halfway through January, so yeah.
11 and a third months to go.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna jump.
All right.
Thank you, Mikey.
Yeah. Let me before you shut it off and make it awkward.
Oh, okay.
Let me shut the stream off so we don't have cams just go like this all of a sudden.
Fine.
Cool. There's one person watching. They didn't chat, but thanks. And goodbye to YouTube as well. See ya.
Bye.
Hi, YouTube.